and welcome to another episode of the Marco Podcast.
A show dedicated to the realness of organization and entrepreneurship. This space was created for every woman who needs motivation or inspiration to get organized and to keep going after her dream. I'm your host, Angel J. Sit back and prepare for valuable tips, resources, laugh, and much more. If this is your first time here, welcome and thanks for joining. If you've been hanging around for a while, welcome back, and I hope you brought a friend. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode. Today, I am talking with Brit Nicole, the owner of Brit Nicole Photography. Brit is a successful photographer turned ambitious business strategist who helps creative female entrepreneurs break free from the manager mindset and step into their full CEO potential. After experiencing her own business shit show that nearly bankrupt her company, Brit is now passionate about empowering women just like you to achieve financial growth success without all of the drama. As a creative who got stuck in the worst case scenarios, Brit knows firsthand how easy it is to feel lost and hopeless, lose sight of your big picture vision and the dreams of your heart. But she's cracked the code, not once, but twice, on building a thriving six-figure enterprise, and she's here to share her proven roadmap with us today. So get ready for an insightful conversation full of practical strategies and inspiring stories. Brit is going to show us how female founders can embrace smart growth and make their entrepreneurial dreams a reality. Everyone, let's welcome Brit. Hi, Brit. How are you?
Hello. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Thanks so much for being here today. I am so excited to hear about your story.
Man, I mean, I'm glad you're excited to hear about the shit show of my life.
Yes, this is what this is all about. Like you made a mistake and now you're gonna share it so that someone else doesn't make the same thing. So it's all gonna be good here.
Tell you what.
Is there anything else you'd like to share before we get started?
No, I mean, you did a pretty good job of telling people how amazing I am. So I think that covers it, you know?
Oh, well, awesome then. Well, let's just get right into it. So how long have you been an entrepreneur and how did you get started?
Oh my gosh. I opened Brit Nicole up 17 years ago. So
Okay.
I was almost straight out of high school. I always knew that I did not want to go to college. Like working for other people never panned out well for me because even at a young age of 18, when I was working for other people, my mind was still constantly on my photography business or how I can build something myself to where I'm not going to be capped. Because I'm capped working for somebody else. Like I can spend all of my days and hours working for this one CEO where I'm making them bukus of money, but I'm capped financially.
Right.
So at the age of 21, I should have just started with my photography business, but being stubborn and listening to other people, oh, you can't make money from photography. You can't do this. You can't do that. Well, I'm going to find something that I can do that will pacify other people, is what it came down to.
Okay.
So, in my area, I live in Texas, like the top part of Texas, and we are years behind digitally. It feels like, I mean, I don't know how we didn't go to school with horses. Like we are so behind on stuff.
Listen, I
But
live in South Carolina and I was just having a conversation with somebody about how far behind South Carolina is. So I'm right there with you.
we're in the same place.
Yes.
But all these other places had digital advertising, and this was, gosh, like 13 or 14 years ago.
Okay.
Why doesn't Amarillo have that? So I opened up Amarillo's very first digital media business. I went and put TVs in the mall, in other restaurants, in other businesses, and I was running other people's ads and their own menu stuff. And I was like, I hate this. I hate waking up on Mondays and feeling like I just want to drive myself into a building. Like I hated what I was doing. I wasn't passionate about it. So I sold the business. I was like, if I can scale something at 21, I can scale my photography business.
Right.
So that's where honestly, that's just kind of where things started off. Was I got tired of working for other people. My time is valuable for myself. And I realized that I can take a niche and scale the crap out of it and make money and have this financial legacy that I'm looking for.
Mm. Okay, I love that.
That's what I did.
I absolutely love that. I love that, you did try to fit into somebody's box, but you realized that this wasn't for you and this wasn't what you wanted to do. And so you got yourself out of that. It took you a little bit of time, but
No.
you started doing, yeah, what you wanted to do. And so how is the photography business? Like I know, well, maybe not 17 years ago, but I know like maybe like 10 years ago, it seemed like everyone was getting into photography. And then it kind of went to, oh, well, you can just take it on your phone. And it was like the photographers versus the phone. So how are you still thriving in, this age with photography?
That is a great question. I have built my brand up so well that I really don't have to worry about it.
Mm.
Like I literally have clients fly to me or fly me out to places because
Oh,
I've done
wow.
such a good job branding myself everywhere. I actually started off doing the jack of all trades. Way back whenever I first started, other photographers weren't really willing to help you. You would ask someone, "Hey, how did you get into wedding photography? Are you able to help me? Give me some guidelines." And everybody's so hush hush because it's to them, they saw it as competitive.
Right.
And I was self-taught. I literally had to find all of the free stuff that I can learn from because I didn't have any money at that time. Like I was young, right?
Yeah.
So I did. I was a jack of all trades. I did newborn, seniors, weddings. You call me for whatever, I was going to shoot it. And something clicked in me a few years down the road of if I'm being the jack of all trades, I'm truly actually not making any money.
Mm.
Like, the people who make money are the ones who specialize in things that they're passionate about. I'm not passionate about newborns. I don't I like, please do not come to me to shoot your baby. I don't like doing it. Like,
Yeah,
I will
it's
give you
not
your
your
baby
thing.
back. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, like, "Oh, thank you for your baby. Here you go. Give it
Right.
back."
Yeah.
But when I was shooting large weddings, I was only doing that because I was told by another photographer, if you shoot large weddings, you'll be someone in the industry. Everybody
Mm.
wants to feel valued, especially in their own industry when they have their own business. And so that's what I did. And I hated it. The type of experience that I give my clients mean so much to me that whenever I would ask my brides, what was your most memorable part of your whole wedding day? It wasn't anything joyful. It went back to things that they regretted, such as, "I didn't have time to sit down and eat the dinner that I paid for everybody else to eat. I didn't get
Mhm.
to sit down and talk to grandma," or whatever that may be. And that about 8 years ago, I was able to have, like, a true hard look at what am I actually providing to my clients? Like, I'm just going along with what they're wanting. What type of experience can I actually provide? And so, I went and told my husband, I was like, I'm no longer going to be doing large weddings. I'm going to specialize in small, intimate weddings and destination elopements. And he told me, "You're making a big mistake.
Mhm.
Don't do that. Weddings are your bread and butter." And my immediate reaction to that was, "You're not in this industry. Like, you don't
Right.
know how well it works. And also, like, you don't own your own business." So, I've realized people who are the ones quickly to tell you no or try to guide you a different way, those are the people who were afraid to do it themselves or afraid of that they just wouldn't do it, you know? And so
Right.
that was the best decision I ever made. Now I specialize in destination elopements and small weddings, and I made a killing doing it.
Mm.
So when it comes to other photographers coming out of the woodworks and saying, "Hey, I want to be a photographer or I have this iPhone," no, nobody's a threat to me because I built myself up so well that people save money just to come to me.
That is amazing. And small weddings are like taking over now. Like people are opting more for the small weddings or for the destination weddings than they are for
Yes.
the bigger weddings. And I think about my I've been married for almost 12 years, and recently I've been thinking like a lot about my wedding, and I'm just like there's so many things that I would do over again, as I too did not get to finish eating my food. I think I got maybe like 2 or 3 bites out of it, and that
Oh.
was probably about it. And it was really good food. So I think we had like pot roast or something like that. Like it wasn't just
Mm.
your regular, standard chicken. And then I was mad because afterwards my husband and I was like, "We're hungry. Want to go to Sonic?" And I'm like, "Sure." In my
Right?
wedding dress, let's go to Sonic. And then the next day, my mom was like, "Oh, did y'all get the plates that they packed for y'all?" I was like, "What plates?" She's like, "They packed plates of food for y'all." Nobody thought to tell us this because I ate a burger and fries in my wedding dress, and yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, I completely get it. But I love the smaller ones, and I like seeing the pictures from the destination weddings and just the small intimate settings. So good for you for taking that leap of faith, just not listening to the naysayers and blocking them out and doing what you felt was best.
Yeah, like I felt the calling in my heart, and when people feel that burning fiery passion within themselves, it's not there just for some random reason. Like that is
Right.
literally meant for you and for you
Hmm.
to follow through on. And the answer is always going to be no
Hmm.
unless you actually try it. Like
Yes.
you're really never going to get anywhere in life until you truly dive after those passions that you have.
Yes, I agree with that. And I did a podcast interview a while ago with somebody else, and they said something perfect that I love. And there's like, try something. And if you're not happy with it, you can get your misery back. Like you can always go back to your
You can
misery. And I
always
was
get your misery.
yeah, I was like, that is true. You can't always go back to your misery. So just give it a try. Yeah.
And hey, you know what? Owning your own business, you're going to live in misery more than what you bargained for. The real difference is the between the people who make success from their companies versus the ones who don't are the one we all of us get knocked off of our horse. All of us,
Mhm,
we fail and we fail miserably. But the ones
mhm.
who get back up and learn from that experience are the ones who truly can do something with their lives.
Yes, amen to that. I agree to that. And my go-to lately has been whenever I feel like I'm failing or I've been knocked off my horse, I go take a nap and then I wake up and
Yes.
I feel better and I feel energized and I'm like, okay, I can conquer the world now. And so then I'm
Oh, I
just like
love that.
I'm in like work mode after that. But just give me that quick, well, my husband says I don't take quick naps, but give me, that little 2.5 hour nap, and then I'm gonna wake up refreshed and ready to tackle some stuff. So
I love that. I love that
thank
because
you.
it breaks the mindset and the mold that we have to be constantly hustling or constantly working to produce success when that's not true. Like,
No.
go take your nap. You'll be
Yes.
okay, I promise. Like,
I
go take that vacation. It's okay.
Yes, the world is not going to fall apart. The sky is not gonna fall. Like it's
Yep.
gonna be okay. It's gonna be fine. So yeah. So switching over to doing small weddings and destination weddings was the best decision that you ever made. What was the worst decision that you ever made? What started the
Sweet
shit show?
Moses. Oh my Lanta. Okay. Well, let me tell you. You're
I'm
like,
ready for
please
this.
do.
I'm ready. Yes, I'm ready.
So, when you own your own business, you have the people that are managers,
Hmm.
and then you have the people who are true CEOs, and you get paid those salaries. If you are just a manager within your business, you're getting paid your manager salary. If you are running your business like a CEO and like a boss, you're going to be getting paid that CEO salary. So, I started because I branded myself so well, I was getting so busy. I was having to turn people away, and it's a good thing to have, right?
Right.
Especially when I was in my younger years. My body could handle going out and doing all of the stress and hiking with my gear and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I knew I knew I cannot scale my business to actually meet the financial freedom requirements that I'm wanting to build for my family unless I hire people to work for me.
Okay.
I know how to hire people. I've done it before, especially with my digital media business. I know how to set up interviews. I know how to do all of the things and what to look out for. And I just didn't do it correctly for the first time.
Okay.
And it was hiring incorrectly almost cost me my whole entire business,
Oh, wow.
and all of my fortune. What ended up happening was there was this girl, who I interviewed, and I truly fell in love with her interview process. The people interview very well or they don't.
Right.
And sometimes whenever you do hire people, you quickly find out that they are just really good in interviewing, right?
Yes.
They're not good at implementing the services and the way that you train and things like that. And my training is very extensive. Like, I'm going to have to put you through certain situations and through the ringer to make sure that you can handle this type of um, workload, because it is
Right.
busy and you're required to travel and hike and do all the things. And I just hired the first girl who was really excited to work with me, is what it came down to. And it it sucked. I spent more time putting out dumpster fires of hers, of making mistakes, than I did scaling my own business.
Oh, wow.
And even though you have contracts in place, whenever you do hire people, you have your employment agreement, your non-disclosure, and your non-competition. Now, back then, the non-competition agreements were legal. There are certain states now that have done away with non-competition clauses, but if you did sign it, you still have to agree to those terms. Just now, businesses can't give those to the new people.
Okay,
And
gotcha.
so I hired someone who had zero experience, which is what I wanted. I wanted to be able to mold her into another Brittany, because that's what my
Right.
brand was. And oh man, like she, I just need to say I have proof of all of this. Okay, there's
Okay.
email proof, screenshots of these things, that of her saying, like, I have never shot a real wedding, a real elopement. She worked off of her iPhone, okay, for some of the shoots. Like, she did a lot of cars type shots. I don't know if they were necessarily for like people buying. I don't know what those were for, but I loved the fact that she had zero experience in this area, so that
Yeah.
I want you to be me, because that's my brand.
Right.
So I spent my every ounce of my being pouring into her, of the level that I'm at versus where, somebody else would be just starting off. And what ended up happening was not good. About a year into us having this working relationship, we all knew it was coming to an end, and I'd never had the heart to fire her. I should have a long time ago, but I saw little Brittany in her. I saw
Mhm.
someone who just needed someone to believe in them, because she has the talent to go do things. I believe everybody has that.
Right.
And I didn't follow through with what my gut was telling me. And when shit ended up hitting the fan, we parted ways, and she ended up taking things from my business, which was like 16 years worth of intellectual property, of how to market, how to do XYZ, how I trained her, what I did, my client system, my workflow, all the way up to federal copyrighted images. And when you work for someone, the things that you produce within that person's company is their property. It is not yours.
Right.
And one of my employees at the time saw that she had started her own elopement Instagram. And I was like, listen, I don't care if you do family photography. I don't care if you do boudoirs. You have my exact coordination locations, or coordinate locations, at my destination elopements, where I personally have gone to camp to see what looks better for sunrises, what looks better for sunset, how long does it take us to get to XYZ or whatever. Don't come in my lane for as long as your non-competition agreement says, and then afterwards,
Mhm.
do whatever you want.
Right.
But that's exactly what happened. She started utilizing things that were not hers and started booking people. And the second that I found out about it, well, actually, before then, I sent her a cease and desist, and that didn't phase her. So I was like, "Oh my gosh, girl! Like,
Oh my
do
goodness.
other things. Like, it's okay to
Right.
do other things, right? Like, you don't have to steal to do something with your life." And
Right.
so I had to slap her with a federal lawsuit. And in
Oh my
order
goodness.
to afford this federal lawsuit, I had to let my whole entire team go.
Oh
So,
my goodness.
yeah.
Oh, wow. That is so disheartening, especially because it sounds like the rest of your team was a really good team. Y'all worked
Oh,
together well and
mm.
everything. And do you think that she tried to get in with you just because she knew who you were because you had built this brand? Do you think that was her end goal all this time was to kind of learn from you and then take that?
I'm not sure. Whenever I had the consult, no, it wasn't a consultation. When I had the interview with her,
Mhm.
she did make the comment of, at first I didn't realize who you were, and then I started looking at the photos. I was like, oh my gosh, that's Brit Nicole. Like, of course I want to learn from her. So I've never sat down and thought about that. Were there red flags? Hell yeah, they
Yeah.
were red flags. Did I choose to ignore them? I did.
Yeah.
That's my own fault. I definitely chose to ignore them because I wanted to see the greater good in what people can be, but
Yeah. Yeah.
that that was a sucky
That
lesson.
Yeah, it's so sucky. And then also because you took a chance on someone who didn't have any experience, and that's very rare these days. Like people want you to come into even entry level positions, in corporate
I
America,
know.
they want you to come in with 15 years of experience. And it's like, I can never get the experience if no one gives me the chance. And you took the chance
Yeah.
on trying to work with her and help mold her and give her that experience and give her that learning lesson, and now she's probably ruined it for the next person that's like, I'm gonna be a lot more cautious going forward. So but
Mm. Well, I tell you, when she ruined it, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. That was the darkest outside of I was married before, and
okay.
he took everything away from me. I wasn't allowed to have a job. I couldn't do my photography business, and the ones that I did have contracts for weddings, he had to be there and watch. It was a very abusive situation. He ended up killing himself. Like, it was a whole
Oh
story.
wow.
So I had to start all over from scratch then. And it's probably because I had healed from what had happened,
Hmm.
but going through the federal court process and all the money that was spent just to try and protect my own small business in America, like, no one needs to spend this much money to protect their own business. I'm going to put
Right.
that out there.
Yeah.
But I don't think no one could have prepared me for the emotional turmoil that it put on me. See, it's going to make me tear up. Ooh, because when you have such a successful business, you set it up in such a way that you want it to thrive when you're not around. You want
Hmm.
it to be, um, you want it to produce the type of income that's, well, that your heart's desires. There really is no cap, right? You can do whatever the
Right.
hell you want with it. And when it started affecting outside of my business, like, I can handle, put all the weight on me throughout my business. I will carry it like a freaking camel and I'll prove you that you're wrong. But it started touching into my family. It affected my children. It affected my husband. We had to remove my children from the only school that they knew with all of their friends because we could no longer afford it. And it was a private school. That's the type of life that we wanted to give to our kids.
Right.
We had to almost sell some investments, like owning a business. You don't know what your retirement's going to be like. We don't know if Social Security is going to be a thing. It's probably not.
Right.
So we go back into investments, and it it damn near about killed me. It was, oh, it
Oh.
sucked. It sucked so bad.
Oh my god,
Dang.
that is so heartbreaking, and it's just like, what kind of person, like, why would you do that? Why would you? It's Oh my god, please,
I was
please.
still the bad guy in the end.
Of
I
course you
was,
were. Of
yeah.
of course. Yeah, why would you be the good guy? Of course, I'm pretty sure it was all your fault and you lied to her and all kind of other crazy nonsense. So, but please tell me you at least won your case.
That is something I can't
Okay.
say yes or no to. I
Okay,
can
got you.
literally talk about anything else
Okay.
except for the settlements. But I'm going to
Okay.
tell you this: nobody won.
Okay. I got you.
Nobody
I mean,
won. Nobody won except for the lawyers.
I was
Nobody
gonna say
won.
I was gonna say probably in a situation like that, nobody really wins. So especially,
Yeah.
I mean,
I
all that
mean,
you've
we had
lost.
almost 12 hours of mediation. How stupid is that? Almost 12 hours of mediation, of going back and forth and saying, here is the proof of you stealing and using these things.
Right.
It,
And
it's it was an insane process. And
okay.
as much as it sucked, I have the type of personality of I got knocked down hard, 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 hard. Did I want to get back up? No, I didn't. It
Yeah.
broke me. It broke me in places I didn't realize I could break. And now that I can kind of breathe,
Hmm.
um, I things need to change. Like, I'm very passionate and angry about how a small business had to go almost bankrupt in order to protect themselves. Like, it is a very black and white thing, and it landed me on major media talking about it, and now I have been invited to go sit at the round table in DC in front of the House of Administration to talk about what happened to me so that other small businesses don't have to go through the shit show that I went through just to protect my business. It's
Right.
insane. The laws just they're so old for such a digital world. It's
They are.
sad.
They are. And it's like amazing how some things can just quickly go into effect and quickly take change. It is like the digital age didn't just come around. Like we've been going
Right?
through this for at least, the past like 20-25 years. And sometimes when I hear like laws and different things like that, I'm just like, why is there not an actual law for this? Like, what do you mean there's no law for like digital bullying or digital this? I do not understand it. But other laws, I feel like it could just be cranked out like
Right?
that and it's good
Yeah.
to go. So, I mean, I'm so sorry that happened to you. That sucks so bad. But I am glad that things are being put into place to hopefully prevent something like this from happening. And it's just that's sad. But you have picked yourself back up from that. I know you said you were broken, but you did pick yourself back up from that. So how did you pick yourself back up from that? Because I mean, that
Mm.
would have you said you got knocked down and a lot of people would not have wanted to get back up, but you did. How did you do it?
I can't I can't justify tragedy for working for someone else.
Mm,
Um, I can't justify being away from my kids to go work for someone else. I can't justify putting my own fire out. Someone tried to take my fire out, but in the end, it really is up to me on how this plays out. I can continue to I can either continue to live in the anger and the hatred that I had in it because, like, I mean, you mess with my kids and that brings out
yeah,
a different level in me, like, I know it wasn't directed and meant to my kids, but it touched them.
right.
So, God has these promises for me, and it's it would be a disgrace and a disservice to not trust the process and to allow those promises to come to fruition.
Okay. Okay. I love that. And I love that you have God included in your business. And because that's one thing, he makes us these promises and it's up to us to either hold on to those even when
Yeah,
things don't seem like they're going to work out or either to let them go. And I love that you held on to it even though you're like, nope, I just want to go crawl under a rock somewhere and
I
be done
did.
with this. But you're still here and congratulations to you on that.
Oh,
And that
thanks.
that really is an inspiration and a motivation. So congratulations on that, Britt.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome. So, what should you do if you have realized that you hired the wrong person? Because I know you said there were some red flags there, but you didn't
Mhm.
trust your gut and you didn't go with them. So, I guess, and I don't know if you can answer this question. At what point in time did you realize that you had hired the wrong person, and what would you have done differently, knowing what you know now?
Absolutely. Very early on, very
Okay.
early on, when some people just naturally have what it takes to do certain things, and some people you gotta be taught and retaught and taught and taught and taught, and which it's okay, you're eventually going to learn, but for scaling someone's business, you need to have somebody who can just go and do these things without being told 500 times or being micromanaged. And the moment that I realized that I needed to micromanage was the moment that I needed to truly let her go. And what I should have done differently is not hire the first person who got excited, because her energy pumped me up.
Hmm.
And, we fed off of each other like that. And I should have just taken more time throughout my interviewing process to find someone who was experienced and who just fit it better, which
Okay.
I eventually did. Once I did find those people, it was like I could breathe again. And I think that she knew that she was getting transitioned out because I wasn't giving her as much work.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. And so, how should someone handle it if they realize that they hired the wrong people? Should they just kind of like transition them out? Should they sit down and have a conversation with them? What should they do in that situation?
I recently had to let someone, go that wasn't a fit, and I've become a lot better at it. It
Yeah.
is it is literally like a learning experience for people, but, what you should do, you should always you obviously, you have to document everything, right?
Mhm.
If you whenever you hire someone, you have to have a strong onboarding system and a strong training so that whenever you do go back and say, "Hey, this was missed. Let's go back and figure out why this was missed." You can you'll need to go through with them holding their hands for the first, few months, if
Oh,
even. Like, I mean, I would just say like 2 months is max for depending upon what you needed to do. But the moment that once it is addressed, then that should be it. If it keeps being addressed, that's when you need to sit this person down and say, "Hey, we've talked about this before. I've addressed this a few times. There's still mistakes being made, and honestly, I don't feel like we are the right fit. And as of today is going to be your last day, and I wish you the best." It
okay.
needs to be simple, cut, dry. It needs to be business and not personal. Like,
Mm.
that was one of my mistakes. Is I took everything from an emotional level because I saw a young girl who had the potential to do amazing things, and I wanted to keep giving her chances after chances, but I made it personal and I didn't make it about business.
And when you say you made it personal, like had y'all become friends, or was it more so the personal because of how what you saw in her that reminded her of you?
Both. It was both. When she would come to me about problems, like, I gave her my honest advice. I would pray with her. I would pray over her. Like, I wanted it, and this is probably wrong of me for doing this, but I really wanted to show her that she doesn't have to live in being broke all the time, or being sad or depressed, or the things that happened to you in your past aren't who you are today, and it doesn't dictate who your future is. And I feel like I spent more of my time and energy trying to help her understand that versus just making it business.
Mm,
So,
okay. I
yeah.
got you. I got you. And do you have any advice for, because sometimes as small business owners will like hire our friends, or as
Mm.
you said, we'll end up building a relationship with someone they weren't our friends, but then we start working with them all the time and they become our friends. How do you have any advice on how you can separate those two?
Absolutely. I actually have a friend that she offered to help me during this whole process because I had such a well-built system that I needed someone in my emails. I needed somebody in my DMs, my social media. Like I cannot handle this when I let everyone go. I couldn't handle it all myself. And so my friends, my local friend, she was like, I'll help you. And so I told her like I'm still recovering from
Right.
trusting and all of the things. And so with working with friends, we both had to set the expectation of when we talk about Brit Nicole, it is specifically about business.
Mm,
And if I need to correct you on something or say, hey, why did this happen or whatever, it is done in a very professional manner and not like, micromanaged of where why did you do this or whatever? Like
right.
you got to know how to speak to people.
Right.
Um,
Exactly.
but then, in the next breath, I'd be like, hey, how's it going? What are y'all doing tonight? Type thing. Like
Yeah.
your friends know should know your business boundaries and respect those business boundaries.
Right. Right.
So
And that's something that should be set from the very beginning so
the
that there
very
isn't,
beginning.
yeah,
Yes.
so that there isn't
You can't
any.
assume.
No, you can't. You
Mm,
can't assume. And it needs to be done from the beginning so that you know, okay, this is work, this is personal, and how things move. And I think that would help with less confrontation and less issues. So
yeah.
yeah.
And that's also another thing. Like you can't be scared of confrontations or issues. Like
Yes.
if you're scared of it, you have no business one hiring people or two running your own business.
Right. Like I've heard some people be like, "Oh, I'm scared of confrontation," or "I don't like confrontation." It's like, well, you have to address the issue. You can't just let it keep going and let it keep festering. Like it needs to be addressed at some point in time. So,
Yep.
yeah.
Otherwise, mistakes are going to keep being made. And then you're just going to keep getting pissed off because things aren't right. Like, and it's your
Right.
fault because you can't say anything about it.
Exactly. People don't know that they're doing something wrong if you don't tell them that they're doing something wrong. Like you have to correct them, and like you said, you have to not worry about feelings getting hurt, whether it's your friend or whether it is someone that you just hired that you didn't know. Like you, as
Yep.
a business owner, you're going to have to make that correction and stuff. And like my husband always, my husband jokes with me. He's like, "Yeah, I don't like helping you with business stuff because I don't like it when you correct me." And he's like, "It's the way
That's
that you
what my husband says too.
what? Yeah,
Yes.
really?
Yes. He flat out refuses to work
Yes.
with me.
Mhm. Yep.
And I'm
Mine
like,
too.
okay, that
Yeah.
that's fair because I know that I'm very strict to the
Yeah.
point. You need to correct it.
Me too.
I get it. I get it.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, I'm like he was like, I cut something wrong, and you told me that I cut it wrong. I was like, well, I had already showed you the proper way to cut it, so I didn't understand why it
Yeah.
wasn't cut the right way. And I think he just like walked off, and he never came back. And I was like, hey, I need your help. He's like, yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely not. I was like, oh, cool. So okay, glad to know my husband's not the only one who's just like,
That's
I'm done
so
with you.
funny. Nope. I feel like your husband and my husband can literally start their own little club.
They probably could, and I think I know like a couple of other husbands that could probably join in on that as well. So
That's so
yeah.
funny.
Oh my gosh, that is hilarious. So well, Britt, I have enjoyed this conversation so much. It has been so enlightening, and you have given so many tips. And I'm again just happy that you were able to build your business back up and get back to where
Thank you.
you want it to be. You're so welcome. Is there anything else that you would like to share before we go?
I don't, girl, I'm over here learning from my mistakes is what I'm doing. And so I have a true, oh,
Don't
hi,
I told you.
buddy.
She said hi.
Hi.
Yeah.
You can't hear me because your mama has her
No.
headphones on, but
Yeah, I know. But yeah, I told you he would come in here, but
he did. And he did
yes,
it. I
he
love it.
did.
And I love that you embraced it. So, but
Thank you.
yeah, I now have a different heart of helping other business owners. Like, my gosh, women-owned businesses, my heart for you is to get you to where you can literally have a financial legacy. And what I learned throughout this whole entire process of what I went through is a lot of people don't realize that if you want to be here financially, you have to actually hire and scale with the right people. And so, this year we're rolling out a 90-day program of being manager, transitioning yourself into a CEO within 90 days with a CEO salary.
Okay.
So, yeah,
Okay. I love that.
I'm
I
excited
love
about it.
that. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, oh my gosh, Brittany, thank you so much. Like it sounds like, like I said, you had the mistake, but you learned from it and you're picking yourself up from it and you're doing great things with it. And that is a blessing within itself.
Oh, thanks, Angel.
You're
Appreciate it.
welcome. How can everyone connect with you?
Y'all, I'm everywhere. All you gotta type up is Brit Nicole or Brit Nicole
Okay.
Photography. I'm gonna pop up. But
Okay.
Instagram, it's .Brit.Nicole
Okay.
is my coaching one, and then Brit Nicole Photography. And then you can also go to www.britnicole.com and
Okay.
you'll see me there.
Okay, awesome. And I will
Brit
make
Nicole
sure
with
to
only one T.
with one T. Yes, that is right. One T. And I will link it in the show notes as well so that everyone can easily find you. So,
Cool.
well, thank you again. And I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Modco podcast. I hope that you enjoyed this episode and learned something from it. Be sure to share this episode with a friend, family member, colleague, or anyone you think will enjoy it. Make sure you hit the follow or subscribe button. And if you love the podcast, please leave us a 5-star rating and review on your favorite podcasting app. That helps others to find us and gets us listed in other show recommendations. So you all know that I run on coffee, and so does the show. If you'd like to buy us a coffee, you can do so by clicking on the link in the show notes. Thank you so much, and chat soon.